What's up everyone, my name is Trevor and I am the Gaming Goomba, and would you look at the time? Yeah, that's the best I can do for an intro today. Well guys, it's finally happened. I'm getting nostalgic for the Wii U. The Wii U is probably the last console I would consider a part of my childhood, as it was released when I was in the 8th grade. When the Switch came out, I was at the tail end of my senior year in high school. I already had a job, and adulthood was gearing up to slap me across the face. So the Wii U was the last console I can associate with those good childhood memories, like summer vacations, no jobs, no bills, you know, the good old days. Recently, news broke that Nintendo is going to start phasing out the Wii U and 3DS's eShops. Meaning by next year, we won't be able to add funds to our accounts using credit cards. So naturally, I fired up the old Wii U to pick up a couple of virtual console games I know for a fact I was not willing to pay full price for on eBay, and I was just starting to remember how much fun I had with this thing. So today, I wanted to look back on the Wii U, the good, the bad, and everything in between. So with that, let's start back in April of 2011, when the codename Project Cafe first hit the scene. Rumors of a more powerful console, HD graphics, and a touchscreen controller were plentiful. Don't get me wrong, I loved the Wii growing up, but as a super cool and edgy 12-year-old at the time, the magic had more than worn off. HD graphics had been the norm for years now, and as even lower income houses started to upgrade to widescreen HD TVs, the Wii was starting to show its age. The people were hungry for a truly next-gen Nintendo console. The fact that we were in the 2010s and we still hadn't seen a Mario or Zelda game in HD is absurd. Nintendo finally addressed the rumors on April 25th, 2011. Nintendo President Satoru Iwata was quoted saying the next Nintendo home console would offer something new for home game systems. Yeah, Iwata basically just said, "F off, we're working on it." The rumored console was officially revealed at Nintendo's E3 2011 press conference. Project Cafe no more, make room for Wii U. Okay. Let's talk about the name. It's still my humble opinion that the two biggest factors in the Wii U's failure were the marketing and the name. We may make fun of Microsoft for their dumb names from time to time, but the Wii U is probably still the dumbest name for a video game console so far. I remember seeing that blue box being squished into a U for the first time and just being confused as all hell. Like, you're hot off of selling over 100 million units on your previous platform, and this is the best you can come up with? Nintendo must have been feeling pretty confident coming off of the Wii. Like, they called it the Wii U. No one even knows what that means. I will never understand why they didn't just call it the Wii 2. The rest of the presentation didn't have much. Zero first-party exclusives were shown for the console. The best we got was a graphics demo for a Zelda game we never even got. But the strangest thing to me was the strong focus on the controller. I specifically remember watching this E3 presentation just desperately wanting to see the console. I get it, the controller has a touchscreen, cool, but what does the actual console look like? The most we got was a glimpse in the background in the initial reveal trailer. This was their first biggest problem. To this day, I still run into people that fully believe the Wii U was just a new controller for the Wii, and that solely goes on the way the system was marketed. You show games that look eerily similar to Wii games, using all of the same accessories and barely showing off even a tiny glimpse of the console it's being played on. If I didn't know any better, I would have thought the same damn thing. 2 days after the initial reveal, Nintendo's stock dropped by 10%, as investors were skeptical of the new touchscreen and feared it would be too expensive and not as innovative as the Wii Remote. I wonder if that's a sign of things to come. On November 18th, 2012, the Wii U was released in North America. A basic set came in white with no pack in-game and 8GB of internal storage for $300, or the deluxe set, which came in black, included a copy of Nintendo Land and 32GB of internal storage for $350. The launch titles were pretty slim with good offerings, the only standout being New Super Mario Bros. U, a fourth entry in the series which was beginning to already grow stale. Other notables were Call of Duty Black Ops 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed, Batman Arkham City, and of course, the coveted Zombie U. The first-party Nintendo offerings were pretty slim, yes, but the third-party lineup was actually pretty impressive. It had been a long time since we had seen the Call of Duties or Assassin's Creed running respectfully on a Nintendo console, so while the launch wasn't the best, there was still hope. I myself received the deluxe set for Christmas of 2012, along with New Super Mario Bros. U and Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing Transformed. I'm sure you can guess which one I played more. The novelty of the gamepad controller never did truly wear off for me, at least until the release of the Nintendo Switch. There was just something about being able to pick up the gamepad and play anytime. I didn't have to worry about lugging the console to my bedroom if I wanted to play it when my parents were watching TV or something. Just simply pick up the gamepad and play. No TV required. Also, being able to show my Xbox and PlayStation friends that I could play a Call of Duty game semi-portably on a stupid, dumb Nintendo console was always fun. Now, for the first game that I played on the Wii U, which was New Super Mario Bros. U, I don't remember much about it, just because, like I said, it was the 4th game in the series. I mean, I remember it had the squirrel suit, if that counts for anything. The first game I remember playing a lot after New Super Mario Bros. U, of course, was Super Mario 3D World, releasing on November 22nd, 2013. I know a lot of people love this game, and a lot of people hate this game. I'm just kind of in the middle. It isn't something I look back on as fondly as I did Super Mario 64 or Galaxy, but I had a good time with it nonetheless. To me, it was just the safest 3D Mario game Nintendo had ever made, and in turn, the least memorable or exciting of the entire franchise. I tried to go back and play it after completing Bowser's Fury, but I lost interest shortly after getting to World 2. I know a lot of people love it, but that's just how I personally feel. Next up on February 21st, 2014 was Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. I freaking love this game. Retro Studios could just do no wrong at this point. Tropical Freeze is undoubtedly the greatest 2D platformer of all time. I had a great time with this game on the Wii U and the Switch, but I never beat it because good God is this game hard. Difficulty aside, this is one of the bright spots of the Wii U's library. The next game I picked up would eventually go on to become the best-selling game on the Nintendo Switch. I don't think there's a better introduction than that. Mario Kart 8 was released on May 30th, 2014. I specifically remember buying this game right before I was leaving for a week-long vacation, and my parents wouldn't let me take the console with me. That week was agonizing. I was trying to enjoy a nice beach trip with some friends, but the entire week, all I could think about was how much more fun I'd be having if I was at home playing Mario Kart 8. And I was right to think that, because this game was awesome. Mario Kart 8 is easily one of, if not the best Mario Kart games ever made. The tracks are almost all great, the visuals are incredible, and the controls are extremely fluid. I don't think there's much else to say that hasn't already been said. You guys know how great this game is. Surprisingly, upon release of Mario Kart 8, Nintendo offered an insanely cool promotion that allowed Club Nintendo members to get a free game just for buying Mario Kart 8. I never really got this promotion, like I'm pretty sure all 10 of us Wii U owners at the time were going to pick up Mario Kart 8 regardless, but sure, I'll take a free game. The options were New Super Mario Bros. U, Pikmin 3, Wind Waker HD, and Wii Party U. And obviously I picked up Wii Party U. Okay, of course I didn't pick up Wii Party U. My game of choice was Wind Waker HD. I missed out on the GameCube era because I was that dumb kid that went with the console that doubles as a DVD player. So a Zelda game that I have never played, remastered in HD, sounded like a pretty sweet deal. I didn't expect much going into this game, but man, I was hooked. The story was intriguing, the graphics and art style were both breathtaking, and the gameplay and dungeons were just fun as hell. I ended up putting over 70 hours into Wind Waker HD, and eventually I would be able to claim it as the first Zelda game I had ever beaten completely. I am so glad I picked that one up over Wii Party U. The next game of note to release, I would say pretty much carried the Wii U for the rest of its life, and that is Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. God, that title still sucks. Smash 4 was released on December 5th, 2014, and it is a fine game, but I have a really hard time going back to it after Ultimate. Something about it just felt so much slower and floatier. But the thing that I took away from this game the most was the DLC characters. This was the first time Nintendo really took advantage of the DLC concept. Instead of being hyped for a few months leading up to the release of the game for character reveals, we were hyped for many years after the game was released. The Smash hype culture is something I truly believe helped set Nintendo up for success after the Wii U. Multiple YouTubers, specifically Etika, may he rest in peace, made a huge deal out of every single one of these DLC fighters. And as the floodgates opened for third-party characters, it truly felt like anything could happen. While the game is still fine, the hype surrounding the game and its DLC is what I'll remember the most. Before Nintendo started winding down in preparation for the release of the Nintendo Switch, they had one more solid year in 2015, and I picked up both of the games that probably had the biggest impact on the company and the console. The first of those two big games being Splatoon. Splatoon was released in May of 2015, and I specifically remember having a hard time finding it. I had to check in with my local game store every day for a week before they finally got one in. Splatoon is probably Nintendo's best new IP in over a decade. I put hundreds of hours into this game. The art style was cool, the lore was actually interesting, and it had a pretty solid single-player campaign as well. But the biggest factor in its success was, of course, the online multiplayer. The quick bite-sized matches were the perfect recipe for addiction. The concept itself was just so fun. Shooter games have been all the rage for years at the time, so to make a shooter where the goal is actually not to kill people is such a Nintendo thing to do. This little new IP that Nintendo made ended up being one of their greatest success stories on the Wii U, and the Inklings even made it as the centerpiece of the first Smash Ultimate trailer. Nice! Next up, on September 11, 2015, this little guy hit the scene. Super Mario Maker was that concept that every kid had in the back of their minds at some point, but never thought Nintendo would actually do. A do-it-yourself Mario game? Why would Nintendo ever do that? No one would ever want to buy a new 2D Mario game again, but by God, they did it. It's my belief that this game, along with Smash 4 and Splatoon, is what defined the Wii U. The gamepad controller was absolutely perfect for a game like this. All of a sudden, everyone and their mother was a game designer, and it was glorious. There was some incredibly talented creators in the Super Mario Maker community, which is what made the game as fun as it was. The game also promoted itself through streamers. Every day for a year, streamers would play Mario Maker and play viewer-created levels. It was such a cool way to live stream a video game while also being able to indirectly interact with your audience. Nintendo accidentally made the perfect streaming game, and it was awesome. I myself played it on the Wii U much more than I played the sequel on the Switch. I don't know, I guess the gamepad was just made for a Mario Maker game. After years of creating on that, it was just hard to go back to a thumbstick as a cursor. Finally, in 2016, we got a couple of notable titles, most of which I didn't play, like Paper Mario Color Splash, Pokken Tournament, and Twilight Princess HD, but I did pick up my last Wii U game that year, and that game was Star Fox Zero. A new, traditional Star Fox game had been on every Nintendo fan's wish list for many years, and when the new game was announced, it looked promising. A little rough around the edges graphically, but the potential was there. I did finish the game and I enjoyed it quite a bit. The controls were a bit clunky, but I did find the use of the gamepad screen as a cockpit view to be one of the more impressive uses of the gamepad controller. Clunky controls? Yes. Similar to past games in the series? Yes. But still super fun? Also yes. This is one game that I do hope eventually gets ported to the Switch, as I believe a little reworking of the controls could make it a much better experience. Finally, in March of 2017, the promised Zelda Wii U game was released, but unfortunately, it also marked the end of the Wii U era, as it also released on Nintendo's newest console, the Nintendo Switch. The Wii U ended production in January of 2017, and the rest is history. Funny enough though, there are some people that still get some use out of the Wii U, primarily with what I talked about at the beginning of the video, the Virtual Console service. Nintendo has still yet to release anything remotely close to the Virtual Console service, so I still find myself making purchases on the eShop on the Wii U. When Paper Mario the Origami King was announced, I fired up the old Wii U to download the original Paper Mario and Super Mario RPG. Just recently, after the announcement of Metroid Dread, I picked up Metroid Fusion on the Wii U eShop, as actual GBA cartridges are running for nearly $100 on eBay right now. As I look back on the Wii U, I look back fondly. There were a lot of great games released on this console. One of them even ended up being the highest selling game on Nintendo's next console. The concept was good, the software was really good, but the marketing, not so much. A lot of people like to compare the Wii U to the likes of the Virtual Boy in terms of failures, but I personally think they aren't even in the same realm. The Wii U was a good console, and it had the potential to be great. Unfortunately, it was just mismarketed and misunderstood. I truly believe one day when future generations look back on this console, it will be considered one of the most underrated video game consoles of all time. Well, that's pretty much going to wrap up my thoughts on the Wii U and today's video. Do you guys have any fond memories with the Wii U, or am I just being overly nostalgic and it's actually a piece of junk? Let me know what you think in the comments below. I would love to hear all of your thoughts, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you in the next one.